and welcome to the live streaming show with Rose. And I just wanted to ask you real quick, how would you feel about going live every day for a year? My name is Rose Cayazzo. Yes, I have my branding here today with me so I can give it a smell in between. But I am the owner and founder of the live streaming Secret Circle. And today I have with me Miri Lenoff. And I'm so excited to have you here on the show today. I'm very excited because I'd love for you to introduce yourself to my audience and what you do.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. We finally made it. um, so my name is Miri Lenoff. I'm a digital marketer. I more specifically work with organic content, content marketing, email marketing. That's kind of like what I do. And it's all about showing who you are on social media, email marketing, whatever the case may be, because a lot of people think that you need to be somebody else that you really have to be. So that's why I do this, because it's not just about making money. Obviously, everybody wants to make money, but it's also about how do you show up in an authentic way where people are going to remember you and trust you. And when it's time for the sale, you're right there. So that's kind of like what I do. I started with websites design, then I moved into email marketing, only doing email marketing. And now it's with AI, we can do so much more. So that's why I transitioned more into like a content marketer.
Excellent. And the one word that I picked out of there was the word authentic, right?
Yeah.
Because this is what I do. In the live streaming Secret Circle, I work with women to get themselves on camera as the face of their business because it's so important, especially with the rise of AI. And
Yeah.
yes, AI helps us so much with all the things that we're trying to do as a woman in business. But what I
Yeah.
loved talking with you about was when you mentioned how you love to do collabs. And I'm also going to be on your Instagram live today, so
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
And so you do lives regularly, but let's go back to your story way back when
Okay.
you were doing live once a day for a year and how that made you
Once a
feel.
week for a
Oh,
year.
once a week. Okay, sorry, not once a
Yeah.
day. Yeah, once a
Yeah.
day is a
It would
lot.
have been cool to do once a day now that I think about it. But
I know some women that are actually doing that now. They are just saying, like, I'm just live every day. And I'm like, wow, okay. Like, I
yeah.
aspire to that.
So
But
I
okay,
did
so
this.
even once
Um,
a week, right?
I mean, I did it a while ago when people were not going live as much. And it was one of those things that I was so scared, so scared. You have no idea. Like maybe you do have an idea, but I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? I need to get better at video. I need to do this because it's kind of where we're at in the world, you know. And at that point, kind of like everybody was transitioning from just like static content to video content, and I needed to like break away from it. So I didn't care if people were watching. I didn't care if what I was saying made sense. I didn't care about anything. I just had a goal to go live every single week of the year for a whole year. And it really helped a lot to just break away from what if and what do people think kind of thing. People don't care. it's it's how it is. You just go live and you say your thing. And it was like an 8 minutes, 10-minute kind of rampage about email marketing. And it was just nice to just share in a nice way. I always waited until Friday though, because I didn't want to do it. But I got better as the time went on. And it was one of those things that one of my mentors said, just get better at what you're scared to do. And that was the thing that scared me the most. And now it's like nothing. You learn a lot.
So much, and as women in business and what we're doing with live, we either call it live streaming, we call it live video, whatever you want to call it. It's
Yeah.
important for your business moving forward in the age of AI because how do we know what is true and what is false? I literally have a friend that's in, I guess, Hollywood, you could say, where he
Hmm.
said that he actually saw two people like us talking on a live stream, and they actually were not people. They were fake people that were
Wow.
created to be live and they were being mastered by someone on the keyboard, right? Like talking to each other. So this still exists. And that's why I want to make sure that I'm bringing to women so much information about how they can actually take this live video and run with it to show that they're a real person. And I'm sure when you were doing live streams, you were showing value, asking people questions like, what are
Yeah.
the questions that you have? I used to also be in the area of online marketing,
Hmm.
specifically social media. And
Yeah.
there's so much I think that people are overwhelmed with that there always will be questions, right? When it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff.
And I think a lot of it was also like I remember doing a live and it was National Burrito Day at Chipotle. And like what does that have to do with email marketing, right? So it was about a reward that, it was National Burrito Day and they were giving a reward to come in and get your burrito and then they would give you something. And it's the same thing with email marketing. You can do creative things like that that are always going to be something that people are looking for. So I think the biggest thing is just doing it. Like you never know what people are gonna think or what people are gonna say. Just go
Right.
live and enjoy it. It's fun when you actually get over the fear. It's actually fun to talk to people and to see what they're about. And I have my personal Facebook. That's where I go live. And friends from like high school, they were like, "Oh my God, you're going live! That's pretty cool," and they respect it. So then it's over, and then they don't care. So once you get over that, like that challenge of saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to go live. What am I going to say?" Just have an outline ready. I mean, you do this for people, right? And if
Yes.
you just go for it, it's going to be so much easier, so much more fun, and you're just going to enjoy it pretty much.
Right. And someone asked actually on our live stream right now, is this live or is this a recording?
You know, this
Which is
is
funny to me. I actually hardly ever do recordings because I don't like production. I
hmm,
just really don't like it. I have to deal with the production afterwards, right? To kind of get this video into a place where I can say, okay, what were the greatest snippets that Mary shared with me? And, what were we talking about so that we can
yeah.
recap for people? Because people will go to the live and rewatch it. And we also
Hmm.
have to remember that I think as women in business, like, hey, I just went live, but no one was there. Like we have four people here, right here, right now, and we'd
Yeah.
love for you to ask your questions, but it's not necessary. People are still getting used to this. They're still understanding who we are. They're probably just finding us on YouTube and just randomly like, boop, boop, who are these girls? Who are these gals
Yeah.
in business, right? Because
Yeah.
it's always about what you think you know as a marketer. Like, oh, we think we're going to talk about this and we're going to do it this way and we're going to do it that way, but then it turns out another way. So I think for us as women in business that are using live streaming, tell us now how you're using live streaming in a way that's beneficial to you as a person, right? Through the
Mhm.
age of AI and how we all find ourselves someplace in this world as an authentic person
Yeah.
using live streaming to show that we're real and that we're not fake AI people. So how are you using it today?
Yeah, so I use it with collaboration. So I don't go live on my own anymore. I use it for collaborations. And I use other ways of collaborating with like a post with someone else as well. Because that's to me, it's about creating your community. I mean, I'm here all day, by myself. I talk on Zoom all day, every day, right? And you just want to get to know people and make the connection. So I nowadays I post 5 to 10 videos depending on the week per week on as Instagram reels and TikTok shorts and YouTube shorts. And because that takes a lot of my time, but I love to have this. Sometimes I do podcasts with someone else, which I love doing those as well because it's using the same video as a video and then using it as an audio for podcasts. And you mentioned AI, which is the reason why I kind of moved into from email marketing to content marketing because email is part of your content and you got to have that strategy to know what should I post, when should I post, what are the topics that my audience is talking about, like all of these things that come up, and then move them into emails because we're all guests in all of these social media platforms whether we like it or not, unfortunately. Like I've had channels removed from YouTube that I can never get back because it's not really my property. So you have to just and it just happened without doing anything. Like by the way, like it's I didn't violate any rules. I was being very careful. So you just never know what could happen. And there's nobody to talk to. These companies are huge. They don't really care so much about individual people. So it's just the world in which we live in, and you need to learn how to live in it. So with AI, there's so much we can do. You can repurpose so much content from these types of interviews. You can turn them into podcasts, you can turn them into reels, you can turn them into carousels, Twitter or X posts, LinkedIn. There's so much that you can do, and all with knowing what types of tools to use when it comes to AI. So I absolutely love it, because we live in a revolution right now, whether we like it or not. So you either adapt, or you just die, kind of thing. It's one of those things where the industrial revolution came along and you needed to adapt to what was happening. And I think that's happening right now. So I think 2025 is starting going to be the year that there's going to be so much video, whether it's live stream, whether it's reels, whether it's whatever it is. It's happening. And with, like what you mentioned, that now there's AI avatars that look exactly like you, that talk exactly like you, and you can be in multiple places at the same time. So it's incredible. But I think there's one thing that we all need to do, and that is to be truthful about what you're posting. So even if you use AI, I don't have any problem with it. I have a problem with you pretending that it's real. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that's not who you are, and you know that. So that's kind of like my take. I hope that made sense. I think I talked about a lot of stuff there, but that's kind of what I really think about videos, live streaming, reels, and AI, pretty much.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with you that I've also been looking at it, especially with other women that I've spoken to on live streams before, like a big storm that's coming. The AI is here. We're getting little snippets like, oh, look at that little rainbow that left, or look at this over here. We can use it for this, and people are taking out the things that they want and using them well, which is great. But the people that are not using video in any capacity at all, I think we can say might just be left behind, because the more
Yeah.
visible you are, like us talking on a live stream, some might look at it and say, oh my gosh, like Rose is a really authentic person. And I actually heard her tell her story about working in a workplace where she endured sexual harassment. Like maybe they had a story like that, or they knew a
Yeah.
woman that went through that. And that's a very special button that's pressed when we're talking. Like, I wouldn't just make up a story like that. And I suppose there are women out there that will make up stories like that. So
Yeah.
there's always that, possibility. But if you are live and you are telling your story without any stitching together, I call it, right? Like if you're saying one sentence and then stitching another sentence together, or there's fun music in the background, or there's stickers, or I have like cat ears on. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, I understand branding for some women. For me, it's not. Obviously, like I have my little rose here today, which I love, but these are the types of things that we have to learn from what works for our branding and why, but
Mhm.
also to give that value. So I really appreciate you kind of talking about the how important it is for the reels and the video, live video, no matter what type it is. It's so that people can actually view our authenticity, because that's what
Yeah.
you and I are all about, and the women in business that I interview on my show for this.
Yeah.
So tell me, if you could tell a woman how to get out of their comfort zone when it comes to doing the live part, like let's say they're doing
Yeah.
reels, they're doing scripts, right? They're reading the scripts, which I think a lot of women think we can't see them do it, but we can. And
Yeah.
I think that's only going to last for a little bit longer until people fully disconnect from that and say, hey, if you can't even sell me something by talking straight to me behind the camera, then
Hmm.
why would I want to listen to you? Right? Because it
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
fake. It feels forced. It's a script. It's not you really speaking from the heart. Like, yeah, maybe you poured your heart out into the script, but I still think that's going to change a lot of people's opinions in the future. So if you were to talk to a woman, like
Hmm.
right now, that let's say is on the live, and or she's rewatching this and she's thinking, well, this is great for them. I'm a woman in business, but I can't do that. I can't go live. What
No.
would you say to them? How would you try to move them through that?
So I mentioned this earlier. The thing that you're scared to do in your business is the thing that you need to do. And it's not because it's not like a cliche or anything. It's really real. Like you're not going to grow by staying in your comfort zone and just hiding behind the computer all day. And I can tell you that even if you think that nobody's watching, I still see people like friends from high school, my kids' parents that have become my friends as well, and they say, "Oh, I saw that video that you made the other day." And I never got a like, I never got her name that she was watching, I never got a comment, nothing. But they know that I do videos. They know that I'm always there. So people see you if you just put yourself out there. If you do like I did a video per week, live streaming, and it really changed the way that I approached live streaming because it gave me 50 takes of how to do this. And people knew that I was going to go live because I was doing it every single week on Fridays. That was like my thing. So, people, if you're scared about doing it, that's your indicator to know that this is what you should be doing. Um, and you can practice as many times as you want, as long as you get there, just just do it. Like I'm telling you,
Do
I
it.
mean, a lot of women are moms. Did we ever practice how to be a mom? I mean, it's the toughest job in the world, but sometimes you're just thrown into it, and that's how you grow the most. So there's really, I mean, I can give you tips and tricks, but I think you do a better job of that with me than me. And I think the biggest thing is just putting yourself out there. And I heard this the other day, and it really has resonated with me. And this is the key that maybe this is gonna get you to move forward. Whether you move forward or not, that stays with you, but the gift that you have to share with the world is the world's gift. So, in a way, you're doing a disservice to the world by keeping it with you. So it's more about showing the world, not because you want to be famous or you want to get followers or you want to make sales, but because the world needs you to share it, because it's more on them than on you. So when you approach it from the perspective of the other person, the perspective that, oh my God, they're counting on me. And if I never go live and I never share this with the world, then people who would have seen me, they're never going to get the chance to do that. It kind of changes the perspective to know that, this is not, don't be selfish, like be giving. And I think that's, women in business, that's what we do. We're giving. We're able to share with our clients, our leads, everything that we have. So if you approach it with that way, I think the perspective might change, and that might allow you to just break a little bit out of your shell. And the first time it's going to be hard, just like when you rode a bicycle and you learn to walk. But then it's not that it's easy. You just get used to it more and you feel more comfortable and you're not so nervous. It's a conversation. Just
Yes.
approach it as a conversation,
Exactly. And
you
I
know?
think this is going to be the thing for women to get over the hump, right? Because I hear a lot of people say this at the end of my show, which is, yes, the first time's very hard, but it does get easier in the sense of getting used to it and really
Right.
understanding. So you have been such a wonderful person to have on to
Thank
just
you.
talk about the joys of being on camera, right? Because
Yeah.
we both really and firmly believe in it for the future. So tell the audience where we can find you.
Yeah, so I'm everywhere.
We
Most
love
of
that
my
too.
handles are Miri Lenoff. So
And
on
I'll
Instagram,
spell that in the captions so we'll have it correctly spelled.
perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's two F's as in Frank, but other than that, I think it's an easy name, maybe not. But yeah, MiriLenoff.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm
We're
on
going to be on
TikTok.
Instagram in a minute.
Yeah, so exactly. So I'm everywhere really. It's just about, making the connection. And I do have a lot of coffee talks where I meet with people to understand their
Great.
situation. If anything, we meet and, we end up doing a collaboration like we're doing now, or we end up doing something together, or I buy from you or you buy from me. I think it's all
Yes.
about creating that community and just seeing what you need from people to be able to be of service. And that's something that I really take to heart. Marketing is not trying to sell, it's how do you get people to be ready to buy if they're the right people. So
Yes.
that's kind of like my take on it. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to connect with anybody who wants to connect. And
Great.
it's been such a fun thing to do. And I don't know why people don't like doing this, because it's a conversation. It's like we're having coffee and we're friends, you know?
That's
That's kind of
right.
how
And
it.
just it's public for everyone to see. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said, just do it. Because I
Mhm.
actually use that. I love to close the show with asking you if you
Yeah.
believe this is the case. I actually use this in my marketing and I say F perfect. And I say that can mean forget perfect. It doesn't necessarily have to mean the F word, but
Yeah.
if you believe that women should just do it and F perfect, then I'd love for you to say it.
Yeah. F perfect. Just do it.
It's always my favorite. So, everyone, thanks for joining. As always, like we say, F perfect and keep it real because why? Because live streaming is like your thumbprint and it is what will move you on the gauge for being in business in the AI age. And I always make fun that YouTube has the button on the left, and I'm not a lefty. And even if I do with the left, I'm always like, wait, did I get it right? So,
Yeah.
anyway, I am going to press the stop button now. But thank you for joining, Miri.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate all your wonderful tidbits of info, and we'll get them all chopped up so that people can kind of get let in by the things that we've been saying in business. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.